Welcome to the Blue Cafe. We offer stories of infidelity, betrayal, and redemption. Please like and subscribe. Cheers. Now, on to today's story. I learned an important life lesson. Post separation. I, 36M, met my wife, 33F, 4 years ago and got blindsided by her blatant and unapologetic infidelity. Just like every relationship, we had highs and lows, but I never imagined that the lows were that low. We got married 2 years ago and things were blissful. We both worked in the same work industry but at separate companies. I was a manager and she was just coming up, and it would not be acceptable to work together as per company rules. Because we worked at separate companies and were nearly an hour away, I never believed cheating would occur because things had been so good at home. I could be working for 12 hours and come home to dinner, sex and all the things anyone would love to come home to after a long day. Not to say I didn't do the same, because I always did. One of the things I loved to do was to bring her favorite flowers every week on my ride home. She gushed every time I came through the door with them, and more so when they opened up to display their full color. Nearly a year into the relationship, we began to argue, but it was nothing more than simple misunderstandings. Although I was concerned, I also attributed it to some of our money issues. She hadn't been making as much, and although I was the primary breadwinner, what I made didn't always afford us the luxuries we had loved to engage in months prior. I always told her things would get better, and they certainly did. I got a raise and so did she. However, the arguments didn't subside the way I had imagined they would. Fast forward to March 2020 and the pandemic put us both on our backs financially. I qualified for assistance and promptly took it to make sure we'd have the essentials. She, however, did not qualify and was understandably upset about it, and when some other companies outside of our industry were hiring, she went for it and got a job. I, at the time, was collecting close to what I was making pre-pandemic weekly, and we discussed it would not be advisable to go and look for a job that would essentially put me backwards, career-wise. This meant I would stay home and help out while she worked, and with both incomes we'd be just fine. Prior to her getting the job, and during, I supported her by making sure she had her paperwork filled out. I got up early and helped her get her lunch, sometimes showed up to her job to take her out to lunch, and took care of most of the other duties around the house she wouldn't always have time for. Little did I know that her sudden happiness had nothing to do with just finding a job and getting back to a much more stable financial status. From what trickle of truth she gave me, the affair started almost as soon as she got the job in May and continued until I went back to work in August, leaving the home unattended. In November, I became aware of the affair when I came home one day to grab something I forgot and found the door chained when I got home. When she finally came to the door, I found a bath drawn with candles lit and her wrapped in a towel. The chained door was very unusual and sent me into high suspicion because we lived in a secured building that needed a key fob or a code to enter. I began to look around and noticed a shadow behind the bed showing on a nearby mirror. I yelled out for him to stand up and face me, and for the first time, I realized the guy that was cheating with my wife, I had met when I picked her up from work so many times. My wife formally introduced me to him, and at that very moment I felt sick to my stomach. He promptly left and I just sat there feeling stupid. I asked why, and her response was to get angry at me for finding out, and when pressed further, told me she felt a connection. From there, I knew I needed to get out and mistakenly never had an exit strategy. Due to COVID, my funds were severely depleted and moving out was not an option yet. So I had to brave it for the next 2 months before I would be able to move. By far the most numbing time frame I've ever dealt with. We slept in separate parts of the home and carried on like roommates. I wanted to be civil, not for her but for my own peace of mind. That, however, was not to be, as I found out she had become pregnant as a result of the cheating, and I only tore the wound back open, and I really began to feel like couldn't get any worse. She also continued to flaunt the relationship in front of me, and I made going to work agonizing knowing what was likely going on when I was not home. Even worse, when I moved out she refused to pay the rent and I kept getting notices about it from the management company. In January, I moved out and started to save money for a lawyer and sought therapy. I should note that she never believed I'd file, and I made sure not to let on that I would. It bought me plenty of time to consult a lawyer who went over all the details and originally wanted me to file for divorce, but later decided that an annulment would be better. The lawyer also drafted letters to ensure I would not be on the hook for the lease, and paperwork with the IRS to have our tax debts split. We filed in at the end of May, 1 year after when I believed the affair began. Since then, it's come to light that she may have been involved with more than one affair partner, and when I say more than one, I mean 3+ suspected. As of the 1 week ago we had her served at work because it had also come to my attention that she had moved out of the apartment and surrendered the keys, got an email from the management company. Now I wait, as she has 35 days to respond before it goes into default and the decree is issued. I will update later as more news comes to light. Thanks for reading. My God, flaunting the affair shamelessly in your face. It's hard to believe this kind of person exists, until you deal with one. Well, she's a serial cheater, she's capable of having affairs, and considering her despicable behaviors she may have narcissistic/psychopathic traits. Please realize she's not the person you thought she was. The real her is this thing. Thank your lucky stars you found a way to eject from this relationship with a cut and dry divorce. Once it's finalized, cut her completely off your life, block her everywhere as in messaging apps and social media. Basically ghost her, so that you can accelerate as much as you can the recovery process. Hugs, brother. Always remember that what happened is entirely on your wife's shoulders. You have zero responsibility. In fact, from what you wrote, you've been a very good man. Carrot this. Totally. My ex accused me of emotional immaturity, controlling behavior, basically deflecting all her behaviors onto me. It was insane. It seems like these types of things, I love that BTW, enjoy rubbing salt in the wounds of those they have hurt. They also are so emotionally dependent on others that they will make damn sure that they are not without a relationship giving them their narcissistic supply of adoration. It is often called monkey branching. I managed to endure gaslighting, blame shifting, and her flaunting her new relationship for months until the divorce was finalized. I ended up paying for most of it, mostly because she wasn't going to do it, but partly because it was a small price to pay to cut myself loose from that horrible person. I will echo what you said about blocking them. Full scorched earth policy is the best. Scour their existence from your life. It helps immensely with healing and being able to move forward. Sorry that you had to experience that. Some people are just shit. Please stay strong and move on with your path. Good grief, that's rough, dude. Just know that you are not the problem here. That woman is a special kind of broken and deserves whatever karma comes her way. While it doesn't heal the wounds to say it, at least you got out before you had children. There's a world of possibilities out there for you, and a woman that will respect you the way you will respect them. Hold your head high, you are better off without her deceit. Do note, some narcissistic and sociopathic women will ever claim you didn't respect them when in fact they were respected a lot. It happened to me. I was called controlling and I didn't give respect when in fact I gave a bit too much freedom and too much respect. Me asking my wayward to inform me when she's out somewhere is called as controlling when it's a basic form of respect to inform your spouse of your whereabouts. If the other men have wives or girlfriends, I recommend you to tell them after finalizing the divorce. Also, you can tell her human resources department the reason you divorced. My gosh. I'm sorry to hear this. Unbelievable. Good on you for getting out and moving forward. Keep up the therapy too. You are now free from a serial cheater. Be glad you found out when you did. She would have told you the baby was yours. It hurts, but at least you are not raising another man's child. When you cause harm to someone, you don't know how they will react. You acted well. I know people who would have murdered both the AP and the SO. I probably would have ended her if she kept flaunting it like that. I'm glad I will never find out because I will never be getting married, and have only been cheated on once by a long-term GF, and I got out the day I found out and ended up banging 2 of her closest friends, including the one that was staying with us at the time. She was a complete narcissist and still tries to connect with me. I had to change my number and she has used friends to message me on Facebook. As I read it, one thing annulment does is place everything as much as possible to like you never married. I hope it also means that you are not on the hook for the affair, baby. In many states, any child conceived during the marriage is considered the husband. Have your lawyer make damn sure your name is not on the birth certificate, because this can bite you years down the road. If she is cheating with multiple partners, there's every chance they all will dump her, leaving you her only option for child support. I threw my ex out for cheating and she was served with divorce papers the next week. She refused to sign them. In our state, divorce is automatic after 3 years. We never attempted reconciliation. In fact, other than briefly talking about our young children, I had custody. I never spoke to her again. She went through multiple partners and 3 months before the 3 years was up, she became pregnant. The father dumped her. She couldn't work for a couple of months and went on welfare. Guess who the state tried to get to pay them back? What happened? I had a hearing and explained that we should have been divorced years before. That all the property and even custody of our young children was settled. I had them. The house we owned was now in my name only and she was ordered to pay support. It was temporarily suspended for the 3 months before my ex was due, plus 3 months after she was born voluntarily by me. My lawyer argued that us still being married was a technicality, only being caused by her pettiness. I always took the high road. I wouldn't put up with her nonsense but always tried to be the better person. It always paid off. So she gets caught red-handed, gets pregnant and flaunts the affair in front of you, then has the nerve to believe you wouldn't file. Thoughtful face, thoughtful face, thoughtful face. I've said it once, I'll say it again, there's a pattern with cheaters and their mentality, and I really believe they have serious mental issues. You did the right thing not trying to reconcile and beg her for forgiveness. I also hope one of those life lessons was never to leave yourself vulnerable again. Always stay in control of your finances and living environment. She does it because the AP is there for her, most likely. The same thing will be done to her. She'll be dumped for a younger woman. Duckman. I am so sorry for you. What I went through was similar, but I did not see them together like you. I was also introduced to him at her job and shook his hand while she was right next to me. Still makes me sick over 20 years later. I just couldn't have ever imagined she would do something like that. I also think she liked him from the start of the new job, even wondering if they met before since it happened so quickly. The hiding while on the phone when I was home, the lying about where and who she was with, the way she started dressing better and looking better while cutting me off. I saw the flags, tried to not believe them, but they were true and I got broken forever. I am glad you left her. I wonder daily if there were more, just like you found out. My luck, there probably are more times she cheated. I have this affair on my mind just about all day, every day, and it was 20 years ago. I'm stupid, I know. I wish I would have talked to the guy she had the affair with back then. That probably would have given me the strength to not take her back and not have this pain eating me all day. There's so much more to my story than I can write to explain what we had/have, where we were at this time in our lives and relationship, my failures and mistakes, family and friend dynamics, etc. But the affair happened and it changes everything about you. It changes how you look at the person you loved, it changes how you behave in future relationships. If you read this, please do not cheat. If you're not happy, leave or try to make it work, but once you pass the line of fantasies with another person, you're too far, and need to make a stay or leave decision. Don't wait to see if the new person is the reason to leave. At that point, you're too far. If you do, man up and tell the truth when you get busted. Please don't cheat. The pain caused by it is just too traumatic to do to a person. Get your lawyer to check if where you are has any caveats about her being pregnant. I know in my state the divorce can't be finalized until the child is born, since it is presumed that child is of the marriage. Good luck, man, keep your head up, you'll get through this. The only thing more sad than your pain will be that poor child who is raised in such a miserable environment. A horrible mother and likely absent father. You'll be able to recover. Thank your lucky stars it wasn't your child. She's an incredibly broken human being. So sorry what you had to go through, I really am. Good Lord, man. I commend you for your prompt response, but how did things go so downhill, so fast? Did she express not even an ounce of remorse? 3 affairs? You've only been married for 2 years. Did she have some form of mental breakdown, or did she not grasp what being married means? As I found out, she had become pregnant as a result of the cheating and only tore the wound back open, and I really began to feel like life couldn't get any worse. Has the DNA test been done? Have you been tested for STDs? I can't say as I disagree with your outcome. Some actions are just unforgivable. I've always considered having the baby of your sex partner that isn't your husband to be one of those actions. I'm just mystified about how she went from being this nearly perfect. Did she even attempt to explain this? It sounds like a mental breakdown to me. Has she appeared unstable? Or, possibly, she has slept around with strangers the entire time you've been together. That's a sobering thought. Push forward with a checkup. You only have her word for if she ever used a condom with all these men. I strongly suspect more than 3, but who knows? Is she a narcissist? Because damn, she's SLT for attention, even flaunting her affair. Wow. You have unbelievable strength to endure it peacefully. Godspeed, brother, celebratory hands in the air. You are very strong and a good person to handle such a situation with proper head and a good mind. I have no idea what you might have gone through, but I can only imagine. Even my wayward flaunted her co-worker Rapey's powers and strength and whatnot and whatever in my face, and there was total disrespect, no remorse, no apology, no regret for what she did. Some people are truly evil and act like a victim when the actual victim is emotionally destroyed and mentally devastated. Stay strong, learn to recognize red flags if you're gonna get in the dating game in the near future. Trust your gut and intuition next time when you feel something is off. There will be good times ahead. Have hope, and most importantly, don't lose faith in humanity. There are good people in this world. It's funny how most of the serial cheaters fall into the same category of gaslighting and blame shifting and rewriting history and calling the real victim a manipulator when it's actually them who's the godlike manipulator. I'll agree with some of the above comments that Shiz does show some sociopathic traits. Stay strong, brother, lots of lover hugs to you, heart. Not all the women are like her, plenty of honest and loyal good women out there. Have fun, take care, and it's good that you got yourself into therapy. Keep going. Oh my word, dude. That was horrible. I just wanted to say this though. You said that she got pregnant, right? Well, she will end up being alone and she will have to raise the kid alone. It will be hard for her for sure. You on the other hand will find someone that's good for you if you choose it. I'm sorry, man. Stay strong. Thanks for your story. There is more proof that women know what they want. But we men don't know. Right. So bro, take your time to heal and start afresh. Become a millionaire. If you really like a woman, don't marry unless family laws are changed for the best. If you have evidence and it will not cause problems with the divorce/annulment proceeding, then get it out there because she will lie. Also contact her HR with the evidence when it is safe to do so. You might even be able to get evidence from the co-worker if you let him know you are going to name him when you go to HR. Let him know that it will be proven if he is the child's father. But if he helps you, you can leave him out of it, or if he helps you enough, you can drop going to HR entirely. If he helps you, feel free to use the evidence and give it to HR after you get what you want. Yeah, it is dishonest and underhanded, but you owe this guy nothing. Get what you want and nuke the remains. There are 2 things you know for certain. 1, he will sell out your wife. 2, this will end their affair and any other office affairs. And let her family know that you are one of at least 4 other men that could be the father of her child. If she tries to spin it until the paternity test, you are not considering yourself the father. Story 2. Tried to make it work, but I don't feel anything anymore after what she did. Rant. So last year, my 26M, I guess wife 28F, at that time was apparently going through self-issues. I was blinded, and we are both at that time on a really bad path of cocaine, meth and pills and other stuff. I myself at the time was trying to quit and going through a sort of depression where I wouldn't talk to anyone, not even close friends or family. Or my wife at that time. She ended up just leaving me for like 2 days on a lie that she went to go take care of her friend's children. I allowed her freedom. She would also steal money from me at the time. I didn't care. I didn't think she would ever cheat on me since she had told me about her previous ex and how he cheated on her and how it hurt her. I did want to break up around this time too, or like to have a break from the world. I also was sick, I think COVID, and every day I felt like shit. Physically. Emotionally it was hard to even show anything. She would constantly need validation that I loved her, no matter what I did. So I didn't question her when she said it was a female friend and involved her child. I thought she needed something to make herself feel better. Apparently not was having sex with someone else. That made her feel better at the time. She never formally broke up with me before that. We were living together in her grandmother's house. She also had no clue what was going on until I got worried on the 3rd day and she kept ignoring me. I got worried she went to jail or worse. So her grandmother called and I had to hear from her grandmother that she was with another man. I feel like that caused me some trauma there just by how I found out and her lying. Eventually I kinda moved on, and she and her new boyfriend apparently needed me for drugs. I wanted none of that shit. I won't lie, I had very evil thoughts of revenge, but I couldn't do anything and didn't want to end up what I hated. So I started talking to other girls. During this time she apparently thought she was pregnant by this other dude and hit me up wanting to be friends. I should have blocked her. Anyways, I felt bad for her and somehow she ended up in my bed again. I was drinking heavily during this time. I knew I made a mistake. Other things happened and I went to jail for causing a scene at her house, which was a bad move to go over when I found her messages talking shit about me to other people. So did her apparently new meth head boyfriend end up going to jail at this time too for stealing copper or something meth related. Fast forward to when I get out months later and she says she wants to make it work with me and how she was stupid for what she did and regrets it and hates herself. I tried for a month or 2 to see if I could move past what she did, but I can't. It's barely been like half a year since that happened. Last September. Now at this time, we are living together in a 2-bedroom apartment and I literally told her I don't consider her my girlfriend and I feel she thinks she still has a chance. I told her to get over me and that if anything we can be friends but nothing else. I can't change her feelings, it seems. Things also been going on with friends like this lately and it's making me not want to even get in relationships anymore with all this drama. I don't know if she understands I don't love her anymore because of that act. I can't. I tried. We even were talking about letting me cheat on her, but I can't do that. She only says that, but I know that would hurt her. So I had to end our romantic relationship. I don't want to hurt anybody or myself anymore. Edit, I have quit the hard drugs and so has she now, by the way, well, except her prescription, which sometimes affects her. First of all, I want to commend you on quitting the drugs. That's a big deal and would have been extremely difficult, so kudos to you. And the fact that you don't want to perpetrate further self-destructive behavior by taking petty revenge is a credit to you. Some people would just give in to the urge, but you have the insight to see that it would only harm both yourself and your ex, although you don't owe her any kindness, so you're displaying wisdom in your actions. For your mental health, I think it would be better to take a complete break. You appear to have put in an earnest effort to make this relationship work, but she broke your trust and you are now standing in the ashes of a ruined relationship. Living together will keep you suspended in a sort of limbo and prevent you both from moving forward. Good luck. Get away from her as fast as you can, or you will be back on a road that you no longer wish to be traveling on. Clean break and no contact. You are on a road to recovery and she is self-destructive. Surround yourself with worthy people and cut the cancer out of your life. Good luck, internet strangers. Goodness, this whole story is toxic. You're right, you two need to split the duck up and find someone to talk to about this. There's never been a good cheating, drugs, and jail story. Take this as a life lesson and move on. You quit drugs. I congratulate you from the bottom of my heart. You know perfectly well that to solidify drug recovery, one of the things you have to do is get away from the people who encouraged or validated your drug use. Now, leave who your partner was during that part of your life, a person whom you no longer love or respect and who no longer respect you. I think it is the final part of your complete recovery. This. Getting rid of her is the final stone that needs to be put into place to build the foundation of Op's future. I think that you are on the path to a very bright future if you can stay away from her. You have a lot of good qualities and show the ability to make good decisions that are not only self-aware, but also reflective of someone who does not want to be destructive or weighed down by the past. I am so proud of you for stopping drug use. But now you need to quit her, and for good. It seems very obvious that despite her also quitting drugs, she's not good for you and seems to be holding you back. Sometimes you have to just sit people down and say, look, I'm sorry, but this is my truth, and be 100% frank and honest with no room for interpretation. I'm confused, who has stopped the drug use? Both of us. Well, the hard drugs use. She still uses her medicine, which is Xanax, and I admit I still use marijuana. We used to be crack/meth heads and I was getting deep into alcohol. Like I had been sober when in jail obviously, but when I started drinking again I became more of a hateful, destructive person than I am now. I personally have not used hard drugs except marijuana since I quit drinking. I do wish to be able to live completely sober off any narcotics by the time I'm 30, hopefully. Bro, if she says she loves you, tell her this: if it was always your, it will come, and if it doesn't, it was never yours. We hope you have enjoyed today's episode. Please comment, like and subscribe. Cheers. Have a wonderful day or night. Wherever you are.